Welcome back to Going Walkabout. Planning travel, seeing new places, taking in the sights, smells, and foods of other cultures expands your life in so many ways. As fun as travel is, it's important to be aware of different cultures and their safety issues or resolutions. We're Carl and Susan Steele, and we sold everything 3 years ago to travel and retirement. In this video, we'll go over 5 safety tips that have helped us travel internationally for 3 years. We've been able to stay safe despite the country adhering to these processes. Number 1. So the first one we want to do to keep safe while traveling is to plan ahead. And part of that planning is be smart before you start. It's really important to have the least amount of luggage possible. Especially women, what I've noticed traveling is they have multiple bags. They might have a bag as a carry-on, then they may also have a purse, then they may even have a smaller bag that they take on the plane. That is a big no. It's real important to economize everything down as much as possible. We'll talk about this more later, but that's to inhibit theft, pickpocketing, and things as well as just losing things. So what I do when I travel is I have very slimmed down types of purses. Number 1, I actually pack an actual purse. So I pack this. I put this purse inside my suitcase. So I'm not traveling on the plane with it. This is a really good bag to get. It is ballistic nylon, so it can't be cut easily by a knife or scissors or anything like that. You can wear it on the front, which is incredibly important. It is really important to have bags that you can literally put your hands on at all times. So you want something that can go in the front of your body as a woman. You also want things that have multiple zippers that can close. If you're in a really crowded area and you don't feel safe, you want to be able to close those zippers. You also have a pouch here that you can put your phone in, and it's zippered. So if you want double protection, you can get that. It has the ability to put water bottles on the side, be safe with it. It also has RFID in it, so it can inhibit the ability for people to scan you and get anything from you. And I will put a picture of it over here in the corner. I got it from Amazon. And it was, I think, very inexpensive. This is going on year 3 with this, and I've been super happy with it. It's very lightweight, and it actually looks pretty fashionable. Okay, what goes inside this? What goes inside this is my main wallet. This is my main wallet. This is what I use for traveling through Europe for 6 months, a year, whatever. It has a place for 3 credit cards for important things like Medicare, driver's license, and then some money. You want to travel as light as possible with everything that you're taking. You don't want to take every credit card you have. We'll talk more about this later, but it's really important to travel light. Again, I got this on Amazon. This is my 2nd year and it looks brand new and it's been great. It's real easy to get in and out of. You don't want anything where you have to keep it open for a long time and people can be observing you or people can grab something from you. So that goes inside my bag that I take as a day trip or when I'm traveling on plane. Now, if I'm traveling on the plane, I'm gonna need a bag that has a lot of room. So I use this travel bag, which again, I got off Amazon, and this is my 3rd year of using it. The reason I got it is it has multiple compartments. So I can put my iPad in here. I can put a lot of my photography equipment in here. It is all zippered. Everything in there can be zippered up. I have enough room for my glasses. I have enough room to put some extra things in these outside pockets, which are really handy. But this is what I take on the plane with me, and this is the only thing I take. What's been nice about it is it has these 4 kind of bucket pockets on each of the corners, and I put a scarf in that bucket pocket so in case I get cold on the plane. I can also put bottled water in there, so those bucket pockets come in real handy. And then lastly, it actually just loops right over the back of my luggage. So I'm literally, all I have, and I'll put a picture of it over here, all I have that I travel with is this bag and my 1 piece of luggage. That is really critical because we'll talk about it more later, but pickpocketing and crime in the airports in Europe is pretty big. And if you've got too many things attached to you, that's when you are a target for somebody to take advantage of you. So That's what I use. You're wondering, okay, well, what does my husband use? He uses the same methodology. He has one bag. He really likes this bag. I don't particularly like it that much, but he likes it. It's kind of a man bag. It goes over his chest, so he has it in front of him or under his arm in here. This is a great bag. It's very manly, and that's what he prefers. This is where you start with being smart before you start your trip, is making sure that you take the least amount of luggage as possible. And that will make your time so much easier, and you'll have much more peace of mind as well. Number 2, be aware of your surroundings, and this is critical. I know that we're all looking at these amazing buildings and tourist sites, the Trevi Fountain, Las Ramblas in Spain, and it's wonderful, but no matter what, you always have to be aware of who's around you, how many people are around you, and what they're doing. It's really critical because these people have been trained. The statistics are out, and in 2024, the worst cities for pickpocketing are in Italy, France, and Spain. And that's because it's virtually a profession. Now, the other thing to be aware of is that they do work in groups, and they've become very sophisticated. Many times, someone who looks like a business person is actually a pickpocket. So, when you're sitting at a cafe, you don't want to be putting your phone on the table and leaving it there and taking your eyes off of it, because they can very quickly take that off the table. The same again when you're on a train. If you're on a train and you're got your laptop out or something and maybe you're thinking of going to the restroom, don't do it unless there's somebody keeping an eagle eye on your things. So a lot of this is common sense, but it's not something that we deal with a lot in North America. It is something that they deal with a lot in the European countries. That's because people virtually grow up learning how to do this, and they're very, very good at it. Important to always be aware of your surroundings, and that's really the biggest places are airports, train stations, and then all of these wonderful sites that we all want to see in Pompeii or Rome or Barcelona. So we just all have to be very, very cognizant that that's a possibility. If you are watchful of this, I feel confident that you will have a great trip. Number 3, take as little as needed for day trips. Essentially, what we take is as few credit cards as possible. And what I will tell you, a trick for credit cards is make copies of the emergency numbers ahead of time. Now, the other thing that you can do is do all of your credit card payment and so forth online. If you're managing your credit cards online, and I'll show you my apps, I have 3 apps that I manage, then if a card gets lost or stolen, you simply go online and you'll have the emergency numbers and everything there. If you're one of those folks that's a little bit nervous about doing banking and so forth online, understood, but definitely make copies of either the credit cards or make sure you copy down the emergency numbers that you need to call if that credit card gets lost. So it's important to have a backup. And that's why I travel very light with credit cards, because I don't want to be taking a ton of information with me. That makes that easier. If you're going to be carrying cash, try to carry it on your person and carry it in a front pocket. I buy a lot of things that have zippers in them. The skirt even has a zipper in it, or has a really deep pocket. But front pockets, zippered pockets for men or women are really critical. And that is because, as I said, the pickpocketers are incredibly good. If you're wearing anything in a back pocket, they can easily be able to get that. The other thing I will tell you is I see a lot of people using little backpacks for a purse, and I will say that's a big no. For women in Europe, if they do have a backpack, what you will find is the women will put it on the front of their body, because backpacks on your back can easily be gotten into by somebody who is adept at pickpocketing. So if you're gonna take a purse or something, that's why I travel with the large bag I travel with, because I can keep it under my arm and it's zipped up and so forth. And if I go out on a day trip, I take my smaller bag. Backpacks are not a good idea, but if you do wear them, move them to the front of your body, which is not a real attractive look, but it doesn't really matter. You're not there for a fashion show. You're there to see either Europe or Mexico or wherever and be safe. Number 4 is for everybody, but certainly if you're traveling solo. Take advantage of the local tour operators. So a big one that they use in both Europe and in Mexico is Viator. And one of the things to do when you get to a new city is to do a food tour. And we did this in Mexico City because we were a little nervous of how safe it was. The nice thing is that your tour operator will usually be a local. We had a great gal who we're still friends with today. And you get a chance to see some of the best eateries in the town. You'll get a flavor of the neighborhoods, and then you'll understand kind of level threats of security and things of that nature. So I highly recommend food tours, and those can be done in Europe as well. I believe Viator does the same thing in those countries. The other thing that we did that was really fun is we did a bike tour, and it ended up being about 10 people. And in the bike tour were 2 girls that were solo travelers. And again, they could feel really safe being in a group for the day and have a super fun day. It was an 8-hour day. We got to see Frida Kahlo's house. We got to see the main food hall in the town that she was from, Culiacan. It was fantastic. So really look and explore before you go some of those types of trips. They do get filled up depending on what time of year you go, and sometimes you have to book in advance. But I will say that that is one of the best things to feel safer quickly in a city, and it's something that we tend to do pretty frequently is do a tour right off the bat, and that way we feel like we kind of have an idea of the lay of the land. So highly recommend that, and Viator's been a great source for me, so I highly recommend them. Number 5, so already there, which is good, is make sure you download a travel safety app, especially if you're going to multiple countries. This is going to be helpful for many different reasons. The most important being it's going to give you the emergency number for that particular country. So for instance, ours is 911. In England, it's 999. We went to so many countries in the space of, I think it was 6 months. I think we went to 9 countries. If they're all in the EU, they're going to be the same, and I believe the EU is 911 as well. But certainly Turkey, Malta, they're all different. So it's really critical that you know who you have to call if you have an emergency. The other thing that these travel apps give you is the local embassy. So if you really have a big problem, and it could be a medical problem or otherwise, you'll be able to know where the embassy is at. So I would highly recommend downloading an app. I got this Travel Smart. It seems like a good app to me. It tells you things like weather and so forth as well. It's also going to tell you if they're having any issues in that country, which if you're traveling a lot, you may not have caught up on TV because sometimes you don't have time. So it will tell you if they have some big storms or some emergency issues that they're dealing with. But certainly these apps are available. They are free. So I would highly recommend getting one of those before you start your trip. Okay, there's a bonus tip. And that's that you just want to blend in. I see a lot of videos on how to dress if you go to Europe and how to dress if you go to Italy. And trust me, the local people don't care how you dress. It's not important to them. You need to dress so that you're safe, that you're comfortable, and that you're prepared to do a lot of walking. So as far as shoes go, all the shoes you should be able to walk on cobblestone streets and for way over a mile or 2 miles if necessary. It makes all the difference in the world because you want to see the little villages and towns and all the narrow streets and everything, and the only way you can do that is through walking. So I hope that these tips will prove helpful to you. I hope it'll help you have a fantastic experience in wherever you go internationally. And if you have any things that you've learned over the years, please leave the comments in the comment section below. I have quite a few subscribers and they do read the comments, and people are really interested to understand what are some of the pointers for traveling internationally that can help make the trip better. So thanks again, and I will look forward to seeing you in another week. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, I have several others on travel, how to live abroad part-time for less, slow travel our first year, and slow travel our second year. And a thumbs up would be greatly appreciated, or better yet, subscribe. Cheers for now.